Peace and love, everybody. Man, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I just recorded. This is the third time recording the episode today because something didn't happen every time that I done recorded the episode. So hopefully this the third time is a charm. Peace and love, everybody. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. This is another episode of Behind the Faders, and we're starting a whole brand new segment because I'm trying to get the structure and the organized stuff down with this content stuff for y'all. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to try to be a little bit organized. So this week, we're going to be doing a segment called Make Your Vocals Not Trash University. You feel me? And in today's segment for Make Your Vocals Not Trash University, we're going to be essentially focusing on setting up the DAW, getting recorded, getting to recording, setting up your interface and your DAW, and everything, all of the above that has to do with getting starting to recording into Studio One. So hopefully you can take this with any other DAW that you're utilizing, but this one is going to be specifically for Studio One. But I'm gonna show you how to start recording. I'm gonna show you how to where you should be recording at level wise. I'm gonna show you how to gain stage, and then tomorrow we are going to have a lot more in-depth stuff. But we're going to be utilizing this project for the full week, so we're going to be doing a whole mix. You feel me? So peace and love y'all again, man. And we're back at it for the third time. So, guys, here we go. When you open up Studio One, you are going to have a screen like this, and you're going to be clicking new. And when you click new, it's going to come up something like this. This tab is going to have all your templates, and this is going to be all of the templates that Studio One itself already created, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to click new template. And if you have if your system runs on 41 hertz, you're going to be wanting to change to 41 and 16-bit. If your system is a little bit more uh, complex and can run a little bit more CPU and performance, and it can hold up to 48, then change to 48 and 24-bit. All right. So once we click that and we open up our DAW, we're going to be getting something like this. It's going to be a blank slate, right? It's going to be something like this, completely blank. So only thing we're going to do is to start recording, we're going to add a mono track here, right? We're going to add a mono track here. Now, in order to be able to record, we have to make sure all of our audio devices are set up and ready to go in the DAW, right? So we got our lead track here. And what we need to do in order to make sure all of our audio devices are good, we need to go to options here and we need to go to audio setup. Got your audio devices, choose whichever interface that you're using. And when you come over to processing, you're going to have this page, and the difference between this processing dropout, you want to have maximum when you are mixing, and you want to have this off or on minimum when you are recording. Because maximum is going to increase your sample rate, which is going to make your latency a lot worse. And then with it off, it's going to make your recording great because you're not going to have as much latency as long as your sample rates are low. You feel me? Now go as lowest as your system allows you to go. That is going to give you the least amount of latency. So you'll be able to record. You feel me? So my system allows me to do 128. I used to have a M Audio Crystal preamp interface that only allowed me to essentially go to 250. If I did anything lower, it would start popping, clicking, and doing a whole bunch of extra nuance. And that's not something that we want when we record. I have the US 1200 Tascam now, and it allows me to go a little bit lower on my sample rates. So that is the reason why my sample rate is at 128. Sometimes you might be on 156, 250, who knows? It's going to be different sample rates for every different interface that you get. So after we got that set up, we're going to go here and let me hide these real quick. All right, let me hide those because you're not going to have those on there. So we're going to go here and we're going to make sure that we're able to record. And to make sure that we're able to record, we're going to click this. This is going to be the record button. Now, when you click this, you should be able to hear yourself back because this blue thing is engaged. This is our monitoring. This allows us to hear ourselves back, and this allows us to actually record on the track itself, right? So without this on, you're not recording anything. You might be able to hear yourself, but you're not recording anything. With this on, you're recording and you're hearing yourself. With this off, you're just recording, but you're not hearing yourself. All right. That's essentially what that means for you. Okay. So when we're recording, you want to record. Oh, and everybody might be like, why isn't there anything coming? Like, why can I hear your voice, but there's nothing coming in the meters? I'm not using my microphone that's being ran to my task cam right now to talk to you guys. I'm using a completely different podcast setup. So that's why you're not seeing anything coming here. But you should be able to see some microphone um, metering coming through when you're talking and both of these are engaged, right? So let's say you don't and you have an interface that has a lot more inputs. My US my US 1200 has 4 microphone inputs with 2 XLRs for guitars. So that essentially means that I can plug my microphone into 4 different input ports. So if that's the case and I have my input port plugged into, or excuse me, if I have my microphone plugged into input 4, then I'll have to go to audio IO and I'm going to have to change this to channel 4. That's my first input, second input, third input, fourth input. And if I got more on my interface, then so on. You know what I'm saying? So on. So once that's changed and it's in that right input that my microphone is in, I'll start being able to see my metering and I'll start being able to see my voice. All right. Not every interface has multiple inputs. Not every interface has just one input. So just got to figure out which interface that you got and everything. All right. So now, when you are essentially ready to record, you're now wanting to load up your instrumental. So when you want to load up your instrumental, you'll find your beat and you'll throw your beat into the DAW. This just by simply dragging it from the folder and dropping it into the DAW. It's just that simple, right? Now, when you bring your beat into the DAW, it's going to be loud as shit. It's going to be coming in like this, right? It's going to be super loud. Super. All right, so the first thing that we want to do before we even start recording on this beat is literally turn that mug down. And you can just use the gain stage right here. You click the top of the wave file and you'll be able to turn it down. So I turn it down until I get about negative 12 dB on the meter here. Okay, perfect. Now that's completely fine and perfect. You know what I mean? I'm sorry that you guys can be able to hear the vocal that's in the background. Let me mute that. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not there yet. You feel me? All right. So we got our instrumental in and we have our input track here and we're essentially ready to record. Now, here is the pro tip. We're going to get our routing set up to start our separation. All right. Because again, we're setting up just to get ready and start recording. But all this is going to play its role when we get down the line and start doing our mixing and everything. So what we want to do is we want to click the beat channel and we want to create a bus. And when we create the bus, we're going to call this the mix bus. This instrumental is going into the mix bus. Some engineers create an instrumental bus separately, and then they do all the stuff on the instrumental bus. And we could do that as well. And if we wanted to do that, all we do is literally just create that bus again. And we're going to name this beat bus. And besides the instrumental going straight to the mix bus, it's going to go into the beat bus. And then this beat bus is going into the mix bus. So now we need to create a bus for our lead. We're just going to say lead bus. And I'm literally just right clicking on the insert to create the buses. Literally right click, add bus for selected channels. If you don't right click and you just create a bus, let's just say we just created a bus right here and there's nothing connected to it, right? There's nothing connected to it at all. All we do is essentially just click this piece right here. This is our routing. Our routing page is going to be where everything can be routed on your mixing board. And we're going to just click mix. We're going to route that into the mix because this next bus that we have to create is going to be a Vox bus, right? So it's going to be a Vox bus. So like, let's actually just remove this and we're going to click this and we're going to do add bus, Vox bus. All right. So our lead insert that we're recording on is going to go into our lead bus where we're going to be doing our glue and enhancements and stuff like that. The Vox bus just gives us more totality and control over all of the vocals if we were to have more dubs, because usually I have a dub bus that I like to process completely separate. So I have dubs and I'll have a dub bus and then I put all of the lead bus and dub bus into the Vox bus and have that running into the mix bus. The mix bus is just us creating essentially another master fader. We have this master fader here and we have this master fader here. This is just going to give us more volume control over everything in totality. All right, guys. So we want this lead again going into the lead bus. So we're going to change that to lead bus. So we have our insert, which we're ready to record on, and then we have our buses set up. So we have all of our routing, you know what I'm saying, essentially set up, right? We have everything ready to go. When we record, you're going to see your meter. You want to have your input on your interface to where you're at least getting to the yellow. You don't want to get red, because if you get red, you are literally going to be clipping and adding distortion, and that's not something that you can literally take away when you print it. It's always best to record lower rather than recording super hot. You feel me? So we're going to try to get that sweet spot to be about right where that yellow when we're doing our loudest piece of our performances. All right. So let's delete all this real quick, because I already have all of this set up for this project that we're going to be working on. So let's delete this really quick. And you'll see what I mean. I already have everything set up. I just wanted to show you how to set it up as if everything was a blank slate. So let's delete our buses. Boom, 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 boom. All right, again, lead bus, dub bus, Vox, mix. And let's create that instrumental bus. So let's say beat bus, and that's going to be going into the mix. Wow. Cool. All right. Perfect. Okay, so now let's say the artist decided that they started to record, and you now have a recording. Okay, you have a recording. Now, with your recording, this is a way that you can check and see if your recording is actually healthy. You can right-click on your meter, click pre-fade, and we're going to check the pre-fade volume. What the pre-fade volume is essentially the volume before it hits the DAW. When we mess with these meters, this is the volume in the actual mix. The pre-fade is the volume that's going into the microphone, right? So before it even hits the DAW, it's when we're rapping on the microphone, da 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 this, da 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 da. This is our input. This is our input right here. This is our pre-fade. This is our pre-fade. Now, once we stop talking and we're listening to our stuff and we're adjusting our volumes in the mix to make it sit or whatever the case may be, that is our post-fader volume, which means that is our volume in the actual DAW inside the box. All right. So we're going to check our pre-fade value and make sure that we got a good sweet spot so that it's not going to be sounding too hot going into our plugins, but it's just going to be making our plugins just right. And again, you don't need to be able to hear anything at all because we're just checking in the pre-fade volumes. That's good. We wanted to hit about -6 for sweet spot and -12. That's completely fine. All right, so essentially, I like that. Now we're going to start our gain staging, right? With our gain staging, we're essentially just going to adjust all of our volumes to where we think it sounds good before we start adding effects, plugins, and anything else extra. Because the most important thing about a song, your song is always going to sound perfect if you get all your volumes and your gain stagings down before you actually start adding enhancements and extra stuff. Because if you start doing that, you're going to be doing a big battle with a whole bunch of stuff down the line. You know what I mean? You're going to have a huge battle with a lot of nuance and inconsistencies with volumes, and you're going to be using a compressor to try to take. It's just going to be a very rough time down along the lines of the mix. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to set everything to 0. And now we're going to work with our post fader volume and see where everything is going to be sounding good sitting wise before we add any effects or vocals. All right. I mean, excuse me, any effects or plugins, not vocals. I just swipe for 10. Hold on, I'm go like a switch, flick the warrior, only flex pipe when he with his mans. How you walk around with a fanny but got nothing in it? Push P, my bitch granny over, put something in it. I'm the one who really got the brains and hand the gold and take a pipe like a fish catch a rod. I'm finna reel a man, throw the bitch, he ain't took the bait. I'm
finna split his wig. Thought he's finna run up with the pack, I'm rushing on my kid. Goofy nigga talking to the boys, got labeled as a pig. Fuck nigga can't even for the bag, that's puffin' on the cig. We the ones, skirting they on blocks, I'm popping out the lid. Nah nigga, I ain't talking about no bottle, put this shit in sport. Really shit 5-5 and get studs, we'll get you out the court. What your man finna split his wig. Thought he's finna run up with the pack, I'm rushing on my kid. Goofy nigga talk his wig. Run up with the pack, I'm rushing. Play me for a pussy, he gon' feel the kick. Nah, I ain't talking about kung fu, this a Philly stick. If it go down, this bitch, me and bro back to back. Hold up, yeah, I got a whack jumper, I'm trying to leave you flat. Could be going by 30 minutes. How you talking reckless on the beat, but I ain't never been. Back to back shooting my niggas, I just swipe for 10. Hold on, go like light again. Twitter warrior, only flex pipe when he with his mans. How you walk around with a fanny but got nothing in it. Push P my bitch granny over, put something in it. I'm the one who got friends and
All right, so I'm thinking that's a good volume to start out. And now, essentially, the next thing to do, we got our organization done, we got our recording done, everything's set good for pre-fader wise for all of our plugins that sound good. Our post faders are set and levels are set good before we're adding any plugins. We're essentially ready to start doing our mixing. You know what I'm saying? We're starting to ready to do our mixing. Um, Next thing that we're going to be doing, which is going to be the segment for tomorrow, we're going to be doing our panning and adding depth and space. Um, that's essentially it. So the one thing that I need you guys to do for homework, if you're following along, if you made it this far, I need you to go ahead and open you up essentially a song. Get your stuff set up, get your lead, your bus, get everything routed, get everything routed and set up. Get you a recording down. Make sure your recording is above -12 decibels, around -6 for the sweet spot, and you guys are ready to go. Tomorrow we're gonna start panning, start doing our first little subtractive EQs and stuff like that. And yeah, essentially, yeah, get her going. You feel me? So peace and love. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. We went through how to record today, how to get everything set up, how to get all of your audio stuff set up, even your audio IO, where you should be recording at. I think I got you guys on the road, you know what I'm saying? So peace and love. Be tapped in for the rest of the week. This is only the first day of, come on, y'all, of what? Make Your Vocals Not Trash University. Hey, peace and love, y'all. I love y'all. I am out. Make sure y'all tapping into Behind the Fader. Let's go.